What is going on, lads? It's Billy the Kid here, and today I'm going to bring you a very special video. As per request by Super Joshy on my last video, you saw in my thumbnail that I had a girl holding the AS Val, and I did the battlefield effect on this girl in Photoshop as part of my thumbnail. Now, Super Joshy asked, how did you do that? We want to see you doing that in Photoshop. So, today, as per request, I'm going to show you how to do the battlefield effect in Photoshop. The Photoshop I'm using is CS3, so I don't know if it matters on earlier or later versions of Photoshop, but I'm sure it doesn't. So let's start. So the first thing you're going to do is make a new project set at 1920 by 1080 pixels. Now I have collected a huge number of Battlefield 3 related images from Google Images, so you're going to have to go and get yourselves one. Just go to Google Images, put in Battlefield 3 poster or wallpaper. Make sure it's set to large in your search definition so you can get a large wallpaper. So I'm going to open up this one. I'm going to go to my Photoshop folder and open up a Bane render that I rendered out in Photoshop. Since I'm a big Dark Knight Rises fan and Bane is such a badass, let's make Bane into Battlefield 3. So let's get our Battlefield 3 poster and put it into our new project in 1920 by 1080. Now we're going to resize the poster. So we right click on it and we say convert to smart object. This way we won't lose any of the quality when we go to resize it. Once we have that done, we press Ctrl and T on your keyboard to resize. So right around there. I just want the tank, the soldiers, the city and the light right in the middle. So let me just minimize this and get rid of this battlefield poster so I don't get confused with the two of them. So now that we have that done, it's time to bring Bane from the Dark Knight Rises into our project. The second I bring him into it, you can see he's massive. He takes up the entire screen. That's because the render itself was massive. So we need to resize him, so we convert him to a smart object. And then we do the same thing again. We press Ctrl and T on our keyboard. And then we try and drag him as not too small, but we want to get him very big in the poster, but we don't want him getting too big. In fact, I'm going to maximize this now and hopefully it doesn't crash. Phew, didn't crash. So he's still a bit small, so let's make him a little bit bigger. Right around there. Make him even bigger than that. A bit more to the left and then drag up. Yeah, that's pretty much perfect. That's exactly what I want. Drag him over to the right hand side. There we go. That's pretty much it. That's all we need to do to resize Bane. Once we're done, we just left click to finish the resizing. Now that that's out of the way, it's time to put on the blue tint for Bane for our render. So, making sure that you are still clicked onto your render, wherever it may be, you go down to the bottom of the screen where you'll see this little icon here. Click on that, and we'll open up a new menu called Gradient Map. So we click on Gradient Map, and this is where we're going to put in our color. And you'll see this little level here. On the first level, we'll click on this, and you'll see down at the bottom we get several different letters and numbers. In here we're going to put in the following number, and the first color number we're going to be putting in is 475461. This will give you a slightly bluish grayish look, but that's only just one color. In here we're going to put in our second color, and that number is 8092A1. Click OK. So now we have our two sets of colors. Once you've done that, click OK and click OK again. So we have our colors. The entire screen is now dark bluish grayish. That's our color. But we don't want the entire screen to be like that. We just want Bane to be like that. So right click on the gradient mask and click create clipping mask. And when we do that, as you can see, now Bane looks dark bluish, but it doesn't really look nice. So go up here and click on color. Now you can see the color really come in. He really does look like the background with the dark bluish grey sort of colour. But where's the red? Where's the yellow? We're going to get to that. So once we have that done, what we're going to do next is go to our eraser tool and set it to a high number, not too high. We don't want it all just erased. And we're not going to be erasing him, we're going to be erasing the mask, the color basically. We're not going to be erasing the render itself. So we're going to, under his right arm, where it usually is in the actual Battlefield 3 character, we're going to just erase the color here. Once we have this part done, what we're going to do now is merge the gradient layer and the render layer together. So we control and click on both of them, right click, and it'll say merge layers. Click on that. Now we can move our render around and not worry about the gradient layer being, you know, stuck in one place and not moving. It'll move with the render. So now that we have that done, it's time to start on the colors. So we make a new layer, and actually I'll just call this layer Bane Render, just for myself. You can do it as well, whatever render you're working on, just to not confuse you. And we're going to name this new layer that we just created Orange. This is where we're going to put in our orange color. So we right click it, and we need to create another clipping mask. And what we do now is we have our color tab on the right hand side. We'll go to our brush tool, and we're going to select this color right here, pure red orange. Make sure your brush is very big, not too big now. We're not going to be painting the entire render, remember. We're going to be painting his right arm where we have it erased, the color. So we just click maybe once or twice or even 3 times on that section there. And when we've done that, we go up to here and set to overlay mode. Now you can see it's sort of coming to life. It's not quite red enough for me, so I'm gonna duplicate this by dragging it down to the new layer icon. Now you can see it's really red. So that's not too bad. It's not quite Battlefield though. So what I'm gonna do is create another new layer, and we're gonna call this one Yellow. Like so, and it's like rinse and repeat. It's the same process. We right click, and we need to create another clipping mask. We go up to our color icon, and we'll select this one, yellow. We go to our paintbrush, and just once or twice, not like the other time, just once or twice, just click in here and here like that, and then we set that to overlay as well. And you can see it's yellow, but it's not quite yellow. So once again, I'm going to duplicate it by dragging it down to the new layer icon. Now it's really yellow. It really is looking like Battlefield. I'm just going to lower the opacity on this yellow a little bit. It's a bit too yellow for my eyes. I'm just going to drag it down to around there. So that looks nice. Starting to look a little bit like Battlefield. Now that we have the colors out of the way, we're going to add up a little bit of light just above Bane's head, just like in the Battlefield character. For that, we make a new layer. We go to our paintbrush tool, we set the color to white, and we're just going to click once just above his head. Doesn't matter if we get the actual white on his head, it doesn't matter. So we just click it like that. That'll do. And we go to filter on the tabs. We go to our filter tab, we go to motion blur. No, we go to blur, and then we go to motion blur. That's what it is. And if I just move this across out of the way so we can see, you can see how it's very blurry, and we'll have it maxed out, so that's fine. And we're gonna duplicate this again, like so. And I'm just gonna take our pointer and just move it across to the right a bit. Yeah, that'll do. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna merge both those light layers. So holding control and selecting both will merge them together, and just get them in the center like that, and reduce the opacity on that to around, let's say around there, right around there. A bit much, but yeah, doesn't matter. You can set it to whatever you like. This is what I like. So now that that's done, we're just going to, actually I'm going to just rename this light. Now that we have that done, we're going to add in some smoke as we see in Battlefield 3. And for that, there is a render I have here, which I'll leave in the description if you want to go get it yourself. And as you can see, the render itself is massive, so we're going to convert the smart object and resize it. Now that we have resized it, we're going to go up to here and select screen to get rid of that black background. Now we have the smoke, and we're going to just place it right, I'd say around here. It really doesn't matter if you want the smoke or not, or where you place it. I just place it here, so. But it's not very heavy, so once again, we're going to drag our smoke layer and duplicate it. And we are going to drag this one right around there, but you can sort of see where there's like a square rectangular where the black background used to be, so we're going to grab our eraser tool and just get rid of that. We're not going to make the eraser tool very big, we're just going to have it around halfway, and we're just going to knock off the side there, right around there. Perfect. And that is pretty much all I can think of doing. I suppose if you want, you can make a new layer again. Grab your paintbrush, select a black color, and just paint the bottom of the poster if you had another character and you didn't want their legs to be shown, basically. That is pretty much it. In fact, I'll just put in some text here and make sure it's Battlefield font. But we're not going to call it Battlefield. We're going to be stylish. We're going to call it Banefield 3. But yeah, that's pretty much it, lads. That is the Battlefield effect. If you have any questions or problems, leave a comment section below. If you have Photoshop CS3, and I'll try and help you out. I'm no expert, but I'll do my best. And I hope this will encourage Photoshoppers to make some really nice Battlefield fan art and Battlefield, you know, posters and that sort of thing. Well, lads, this tutorial is wrapping up. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like, please share this video around, leave a comment, and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.